Hello, this is Christy. I want to show you a relatively new function in Riverside where you can now use templates and apply them to individual scenes. This is actually a feature I've been waiting for, and I'm sure it's going to be expanded more. But this actually helps you pre-build your little scenes with a bunch of elements, some of them dynamic. Let me show you how it works. So I have this interview here with Michael Kriese from the Builder Straight Talk podcast. And as you can see, this is my default layout here with both of them side by side and the guest. So I want to change this layout so that I can have a different pre-built layout that Riverside now provides. Now, how does that work? I'm going to delimit a scene here. So I'm just going in the timeline, pressing Shift and S to create a scene. So for the first part of this episode, I want to apply a template that Riverside has built. Where can you access these templates? You go to the top in the scene panel and open this, and then you've got templates right there. So you can see there are a bunch of pre-built templates. Now, most of them are pretty basic here, and there's not so many to choose from, but you can customize these after you apply them and then save them yourself. Let me show you. So this one, I'm going to choose side-by-side view because I want to show the names. Click on this and look at this. That scene brings in these elements, these text boxes right there. It's got the speaker name and speaker title fields already created for you to type the name in there. Now, one tip I have for you is if you don't like the order of these tracks, and I found that Riverside kind of starts from the first and the second and then puts it side by side like this. The first track in the list will be the first one in the left, I think. So they assume a little bit of a order of tracks. If you don't like this and you don't want to change it all the time throughout your edit, you can go to the tracks panel and simply rearrange these two tracks. You see they have a little handle by the left side there. You can drag this and watch what happens if I drag this one down. The tracks are now swapped, which means if I now apply this layout to another scene, it should keep this particular order, the host on the left and the guest on the right. That's my preference, and I've seen other podcasters kind of tend to do the same, put the host on the left and the guest on the right. So if I'm going to now another scene, I'll just isolate another scene in here with clicking on the timeline, Shift S and Shift S right here. So in this scene here, let's try and choose that same template. Go to Scene, Templates, Side by Side. Look at that. You can see now that the text boxes are here, but the host still on the left as I put it. So now, how do you customize this? And these templates are actually nice because you can swap between them very easily. So let's say, for example, in this part here where the guest is talking for a while, I have still the side-by-side layout, but I want to switch to just one person layout. So go again to Scene, choose one of these layouts, let's say full screen, one person. And then, okay, this is Michael, and I don't want Michael to be in here. I want the guest. Easy to do. You just click on this and then swap the speaker that shows up in that box. Look at this. You can also crop and zoom them in if you like by clicking on the icon here at the top. So just to show you again, click on the actual video, go to crop, and then zoom in a little bit, maybe position them just so they are nicely in the middle, and you are done with that. Now, that's a scene that I created here with the guest. Let's type the name, double click on this little text box, and you can type the name. And let's type the title as well. There you go. So now this is a scene that I applied from a template, and I customized the name. And the next step I can do is actually save this and reuse it in my episode or in other episodes. I like to save it in this particular episode, and I can do the same for the host. And the way you save it is you go to Scene at the top and you go to My Scenes and you can save them here. You can notice that I have other scenes that I saved from other episodes. I could apply these and it'll change the layout of that scene, or I can just save my current one and use it throughout this episode. If it's got like a specific positioning, maybe the guest was in a different framing in the camera and everything, so I can save that and reuse it. So these templates are quite nice. I wish there were more here, and they should adhere to your brand. So if you have added like color styles and text and stuff like that, if you apply your brand to the episode and then apply these layouts or save templates, it should abide by that. What I mean by this is, look, if I go to this scene and apply the side-by-side layout, You see the text is actually quite small and it's kind of default, whatever. If I go now to the brand and apply the brand to the entire episode, right? It applies the intro and the outro and the logo and everything else. And now let's see that I want to now create the same layout here. So I'm going to apply a Shift S to split a little scene in here and go and apply a template. Watch what happens. I go to scene and I go to templates. And again, let's choose the side-by-side one. You notice now that the logo was maintained and I still have these text boxes that I can customize, and I can save this layout and reuse it if I want to have that logo in there, the element that comes from my branding kit. So other elements like this are also preserved in the application of these templates. So just a cute little feature. I hope they will implement more functionality to this to let me apply more complex layouts and more branding elements and graphics and stuff like this. But you can also achieve that with saving the scene anyway. So it's easy to actually customize a scene and then save it and then reapply it. Major time saver, I think, because I hate to customize things manually many times. And I do like to change scenes a lot in my episodes. For example, an hour episode for me ends up being like 50 or 60 scenes. So yeah, you can see how that can get a bit tedious as you edit. So thank you. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.